I know that I missed posting videos the past couple days, and part of the reason is that Runeterra was incredibly buggy 2 days ago. I had a lot of disconnects. I was not really able to play the game, and then during the evening when things started to stabilize, my computer started having problems. I ended up having to cut my stream super early. It was just a nightmare. And then yesterday was my youngest son's birthday. He turned 4, so we had a lot of celebrations and things like that going on, and I just didn't get an opportunity to record. So for today, we're just going to do something fun. I'm going to play a couple of games on the Karma Ezreal list. I'm having a lot of fun playing it, and if I feel like this is going to be a decent deck, I'll end up doing a deck guide. I think that it's still too early to tell. I've been winning some games, but I want to make sure that the consistency is there before I do a deck guide. And anyway, that's it for the opener. Let's go ahead and jump into the games. So this might be a little bit interesting. I'm not sure that I've seen an Elise deck with P and Z. I think these go back. The beam is fine. We want some more early game here. And didn't really find a lot of it. I mean, 2 beams is nice. The get excited's a bit situational. This has the potential to be a really big board stopper later on, but I don't know much about the list that we're currently playing against. We're gonna have to be extra cautious, I think. But our hand is a wee bit clunky. 2 Ezreals this early, not what you want. 2 get exciteds this early, not really what you want. And our opponent keeps passing, which also makes me nervous. It's going to be a very effective turn for them.
Excuse you.
We might end up playing an Ezreal early. As weird as that sounds, because we have the backup one, being able to turn this on, I think actually has some merit. Right now I'm just trying to decide whether or not I want to give up a Mushroom Cloud and to get excited for one of these. I feel like the answer is yes. This feels like overkill for a spider, but being able to kind of keep their board under control, because we don't have a lot of AoE removal. Static Shock would be ideal. Getting rid of the feast there is pretty good. You have to assume they have a Mystic Shot, so if we do end up playing an Ezreal, they have to have their own Get Excited or like a combination of cards to remove it, and I do think we want to take this path because we have the backup.
True display of skill.
They run Grasp. Okay, fair. That is not something that we can deal with. Now, we don't really need Ezreal till later, so using this as a Mystic Shot and shuffling one back in actually makes an awful lot of sense here. So this is just going to be our backup plan.
Charge!
I will admit, at the moment here, I am at least partially regretting using that one Get Excited, but we're really just trying to survive to the late game. This is fine, we'll eat this. Because once we get Karma turned online, it's, I think, pretty difficult for us to lose this game. Karma into Healing Potion is just a lot of burst healing that they can't really deal with. This Mystic Shot is nice. I think we just pass. Let them try to develop. The fact that they keep not playing anything is what's throwing me. Like, I'm not sure what their deck is doing.
True power requires restraint.
Get a body down, get some more targets in. This is why Yone is so good in this list, because it gives you another multi-target card. So when it comes to leveling your Ezreal, Yone really helps in that regard. You don't get a lot of benefit from going into Ionia, but you do get things like Will of Ionia. But Yone, I think, is the big one. I will put the deck code in the video description. I am only running 2. Wow, that is a big beam. You don't have any way to protect him at the moment. So I guess that's fair. Our Ezreal is getting close. We're gonna Mystic Shot at least one of these. I was just trying to decide whether I wanted to do the second one here or not. I feel like the answer is yes. They don't have any mana to protect them. This gets us to one more target. We'll have us a fully leveled Ezreal. The other reason that Karma is super beneficial is not only do you get a bunch of burst healing available once she's online, but she makes Rummage essentially be discard 2, draw 4, which is just phenomenal.
You name it, I'll nick it.
Alright, so Ledros. Ledros is a bit of a problem. I mean, I can beam it, but then they can just play it next turn. Wanted to save that for a post-Karma play, but at the moment I think we need to just kind of cycle through. So this is kind of nice. We have a blocker for the Ledros, assuming they don't remove it.
Every step brings me closer to deliverance.
What's that you got there?
So the trick here is to just not die to Ledros. Alright, the Ezreal's not bad. But again, we would really like a Karma. We're about halfway through our deck and have not found one. I don't think we want to play this till we actually have Karma online first. So I think this is a pass. So I did make a mistake a couple of rounds ago. I did not take the chip damage that I should have, just as an FYI. That was a big misplay by me. So we're gonna try that now, because that damage is very, very relevant.
There's nothing to fear.
Alright, we're gonna attempt the Karma here. This is a deck that I suspect is probably running Vengeance, because they've been so, like, bottled up with their hand, and they're running Ledros. I feel like this is more mid-rangey than I originally thought it was going to be. Seeing Just Elise and PNZ, I was kind of under the impression that this was probably going to be... Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Tribute to the Spider God.
Something more akin to...
They don't know what they're up against.
like an aggro deck, but it has not been playing that way, so...
Display of skill.
At 9, they could actually also play Ruination here, which would probably just win them the game since we don't have the Deny in our hand. Oh, this is interesting. Let's see what we can find first. I think we get rid of the beam and the will here. I think the healing is too important. Alright, so this is nice if they play anything before attacking next turn. I think we let this resolve. Go ahead and do this though.
The body must thrive for the mind to be free.
We could have also done this and maybe kept this alive with one left over. Alright, so sadly, none of those directly help us. I mean, Healing Potion lets us push more damage. We could also keep this alive instead of just further healing the Nexus. Take them down to 3 and keep that alive is kind of a big deal. But healing the Nexus and going... Because, I mean, either way, we take them to 3 and then Mystic Shot and Static Shock hopefully gets us there unless they have a healing next turn. But I think keeping the unit alive is maybe actually more beneficial.
But could you maybe speed things up a little?
As weird as that sounds.
Rest. Collect your thoughts.
It's a shame that you can't, like, put things in between things as far as ordering, right? Like, you'd love to put a healing potion in between the 2 Mystic Shots there. It's really interesting. I don't know if they're going to concede. I don't know what the emote is for.
No way!
Beam! Alright, fair enough.
Master.
Fair enough, they earned it. Again, we should have this. Because Karma will be copying our direct damage spells, we can unload on the Nexus, so they have to have a lot of healing to survive here. If they play anything before they attack, we'll even just back it up with a Yone as insurance. That still leaves Mystic Shot threatening lethal, but... So, like, we can just do something like this. They have 5 now. So this is where they could try to use, like, Grasp or Withering Wail to keep them alive. There's the Withering Wail. So this puts them at an effective health of 6, but they're out of mana, and so we can do something like this, which again will double copy on targets, and now we're dealing it, so. Alright, there's one game in the bag against a kind of a non-traditional list. I made the one mistake, I didn't take the chip damage when I should have. Otherwise I think it went alright. Let's play another game. Game 2, we are up against a list that's showing Lucian and Zed, so you have to assume that this is going to be a pretty aggressive list. Keeping Jury-Rig is tempting, but we're going to go with these two. What I mean by aggressive, by the way, is it's likely still pretty heavy Demacia. However, it's going to be one that's based around trying to Relentless Pursuit, if I had to guess, and get as many attacks in as possible. That's why you include Zed in a list like that, because Zed is great on attack, and if you're attacking over and over and over again, you're going to have a good time. Our goal here is to just stall to the late game and then just kind of explode. I have a lot of fun with this particular list just because I think it's very good at doing just that. I think we pass here. There's no way that they don't attack, so you pass so that they attack and then you develop your assassin. So that way we at least get the chip damage in before they kill it later.
Silent as death.
We'll be greedy and develop a Wump pre-attack. Getting pretty close to overdrawing. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Especially if we end up dropping this second one at some point. Not bad, not bad.
Night falls.
Yone ends up likely being a pretty big card in this matchup just because of the body and the power, but we have to catch them when they're being greedy and not going with the open attack, obviously. Yeah, I think we're fine. Another beam. Second beam always feels bad. I mean, first beam always feels bad when you have max spell mana too, but
I've got your back.
we can play around that a little bit. Interesting. I miss the 4/4 Wump. I miss you so much. All right. The likely play is that they're going to try to eat this with their challenger, and then the barrier here means they don't want us blocking that one, so that's fine. I kind of want to bounce that. I'm just looking for options. I'm actually gonna just do this. We're gonna need to spend some mana, I think, to make the best use of this beam anyway. But I just want to kind of present a blocker and see what they do about it. Alright, that's moderately annoying.
Harry, riposte! You are toast! Hardly fair. Aha!
Alright, let's give up this Wump here. If we play another Wump, then we can also beam for 3, which can take out this. I'm just talking like post-combat here, so I think we just let this go. Playing the other Wump will not let us overdraw. It's a net +1 play, so if you're at 9 cards, you'll end up at 10 when you play it, so it's not like the end of the world. But we do kind of have to pay attention. We don't want to give up resources if we can help it. So now at 3, they could have a barrier here, but I think that's also okay if they use it to protect. Again, our goal is to just stall till round 10, right? At round 10, if we can resolve a Karma, it's pretty hard to lose at that point, but we do have to make it to that point. Alright, we're going to give up a cloud here to try to remove this. Now they're going to end up playing something, but we're making them play something relatively large in size because we're trying to telegraph that we want to attack with this Chump Wump.
Virtue guides me.
Alright, now if we had one more mana, that's an easy bounce. We'll just have to do that at the start of next turn. So here we just pass to bank our spell mana. We're also not going to overdraw at this point. But that's essentially how you deal with these. It's going to be bounces, and then if they play something first, we'll actually just stun. So they're going to go the greed route, and we're going to take advantage of it. Because we want to get value out of Yone, get that body. Well, that's just rude. I'm less concerned about not stunning them and more concerned with that denies 2 targets. But we don't have a deny ourselves. I am only running 1 deny in this version. I should probably figure out a way to up it to 2. But it's a pretty difficult list to pull cards out of, in my opinion. We're also going to take a hit from this angel, almost guaranteed. Because they will likely have Yone stolen from us. And we do not have enough to bounce it because we went with the Yone play. We could put 3 damage on this, but then we don't have enough to deal 3 back this turn. But then we could open it up for a beam next turn. I think instead we will essentially just use these as healing potions right now. So let's just do this. Because at 3 mana here, we are moderately worried about something like Relentless Pursuit. So I don't want to take a ton of damage here. I'd rather do something like this, and then if they Relentless Pursuit, then you can pop a healing potion on this and jump it in front of there and go that route. Alright, so the Karma is nice. I don't usually like to play her until round 10, but against Demacia Ionia, they don't have a lot of ways to disrupt her outside of bounce.
Ionia speaks through me.
Man, I'm routinely just like 1 mana shy. I would love to beam that. I would love to beam that. So this next turn we could, I guess, use Will to bounce the Empyrean when they go into combat, and then we could use the healing potion on Yone to hopefully block the Radiant. Which means that we could probably still get away with beaming one of these 2. Because again, we're just trying to kind of keep our health total afloat.
Purity, peace.
And Mystic Shot is one heck of a rip. Thank you, Karma. And a top deck one. Alright, I'm feeling a lot better about this now. We have an adequate amount of mana for this situation.
Rest. Collect your thoughts.
Do not interfere.
Now, they could have more denies, right? Deny obviously sucks here. You know what? I'm going to put this here as insurance in case they have something else here. They do have the full 9 mana, so like back-to-back obviously is detrimental. Like if they have back-to-back plus Relentless Pursuit, that's a nightmare. So we're trying to play around that. Ezreal only at 3 of 8. So even though we're coming up on an Enlightened Karma, still got a lot of work to do on the targeting. So we'd like these to resolve. That would get us at least past halfway. They're thinking, this makes me think that this is likely a deny and they're trying to figure out which thing they want to protect. So there's the back-to-back. Like I said, that was kind of a nightmare outcome here. So they have the deny. They have the back-to-back. They can't Relentless Pursuit, though, so that buys us at least a little bit of time. But we're running out of resources. Another cloud. So we were really good the one time, not so good
Peace begins within.
the next time. The deny was also... The denies have been brutal this game largely because they have kept us... Like, we would be... Right now, we should be at 7 of 8. So we should be in position to just win this game right now. Like, flat out, if they did not have the denies for the targeting, we would be really close to winning this game. We can't even play Ezreal and start creating Mystic shots to get the job done because of this big, nasty Empyrean here. And this one will produce 2 for us.
Thought you'd never
Let's get it at least developed. Again, against Ionia, other than bounce, they don't have great ways to just flat out remove it.
A fight to cook it.
We might have to sacrifice Ezreal for the greater good this next turn. It's a shame that you can't choose where your targets go.
I know you're thinking and stuff, but could you maybe speed things up a little?
Alright, I think we're gonna just go ahead and do this. We don't want to do it here, even though like we want to do it here. It needs to be on something big enough to be hit by both targets, because again, we're really just trying to ramp up our target count. Because we'd like to then be able to top deck something that we can double target here. Because each of these represents 4 damage with a leveled up Ezreal. So we have to survive. Oh, that's actually huge for us.
Purity and peace.
Huge for us. Let's actually wait. Hold on. All right, so here's the issue, right? We have to survive. This gets us to leveling up Ezreal.
No sweat.
Act with conviction.
Oh, what a misplay. I want it back. What a huge misplay by me.
Check me out.
Lucian!
I mean, we clear their board,
No way.
but I guess I could have taken the risk and just tried to double jury rig block, and then we just win the game. For some reason, when I was looking down at the pictures, I knew this was counterfeit copies, and then the image looked the same, and I thought it was another counterfeit. And then after I had decided to go back through, I realized it was jury rig. Oh, that's such a massive misplay. Feel free to eat me alive for that in the comments, because that was awful. So I kind of have to take this in case they have the Relentless Pursuit, because I have nothing else that can stop that Empyrean. I mean, if they have back-to-back and Relentless Pursuit, then we just lose anyway, right? They've got 3 cards in hand, but those 2 specifically, or standalone Relentless Pursuit, whatever the case may be. 4 cards left. So if we draw, oh man, like legitimately, we just needed to play that jury rig, and then we win the game. In all likelihood, anyway. What a throw. What a punt. Okay. Rummage isn't terrible.
I got ways to find me mushrooms.
Yeah, we just need to dig now. And also try to get chip damage, because if we chop deck an Ezreal, we're in actually a pretty good spot. It's kind of a shame if we end up having to use Will there.
The shrouded path.
I walk your path alone.
Let's just take the own.
I have come for the unforgiven.
If we end up having to use Will on this, like, we don't want them to draw more cards, but this time we actually have a deny if they've got a 3rd deny over there. Man, I feel so bad about missing that jury rig. Oh my god. I mean, all you can do is, like, laugh it off. I legit, because it was created by the Karma and the picture was so similar, I legit thought it was just another counterfeit. And so in my head, I was like, all right, we're going to play that.
The order rewards its faithful.
Once we get the Ezreal online. Like, the game is over at that point.
Take from the rich, give to me.
I guess now we just flood the field.
My life
See.
will be order.
See if we can get anything juicy while we continue. Because our hand is all mushrooms. You could argue, theoretically, that I could dump all those and just try to win with chip damage, but the reality is that saving them for an Ezreal is the right call. Because, like, you top deck Ezreal and each one is by itself 2 damage. They were 4 damage when I was, you know, not being an idiot, but it's been a long couple of days, gang. They have 5 cards in hand, huh? Alright, so we bring these. I think we leave this back. I don't know, like, part of me wants to send everything to try to force chip damage in, but right now, some of the things we have are far better on defense than they are on offense. The reason I like sending these is if these connect, we get a benefit, and if they block and they trade, it's the same as if we block and trade, but you force them to use any combat tricks to prevent them. But if they block and use a combat trick here, then that means they get to attack us next turn. So if they're going to use a combat trick to keep this alive, you would rather they use them in that scenario. So I think sending these, because all of these have offensive benefits, is better than sending everything. All right, so they're gonna bounce that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we won't overdraw. I could deny that.
Caring is caring.
I should have denied that. Man, I am just missing lethal left and right, huh? All right, I swear. I'm still gonna put this one up on YouTube, but like, I swear, this has been a rough game mentally. So like, if I denied that, then that was also just lethal. So I've missed it twice. Let's see how many times I can just miss lethal
For you. You cannot escape.
and still win the game. There we go. Only twice. No big deal. So if anything, I would say that this speaks to this speaks to the power of the list, because I am a bumbling idiot and I still got 2 wins out of it. So I will say this, like, I'm having a lot of fun playing this list. I will probably do a deck guide for it tomorrow or Sunday at the latest. Largely because, like, when it does win, it's usually big and flashy. I think that this list also, in many ways, kind of preys on the other Ezreal list. I've been seeing a lot of the Ezreal Draven on the ladder. I think this one has a good matchup against that, because neither of you are playing a lot of units to target. And so it's also, because you're not playing units to prevent the other person from leveling their Ezreal, all that more important that you get chip damage. But the Karma version can do the full 20 from hand, whereas the other version, the Ezreal Draven, does kind of rely on chip damage in some way, shape, or form. So when you're matched up and all things are equal, being able to, you resolve Karma, you resolve Ezreal, and then at that point, you can win with like 5 mushrooms. Like, theoretically, you can just win from hand at that point without your opponent being able to stop you. So I do like this list. It's a lot of fun. Please, oh man, just ignore the mountain of play mistakes. I'm rusty. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to really play the last 2 days because of the technical issues, and then my kid's birthday, and this was my first 2 games. I dove in and I started recording. I didn't play any warm-up games to stretch the old brain, but yeah, anyway, whatever. It's just play mistakes. What are you going to do? Hate me? I love you all. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. I promise. Okay, I don't promise. Anytime I ever try to promise that I'm going to have more stuff coming soon, life finds a way to make me a liar. So I'm going to do my best to make sure we're back on the at least 1 video a day schedule going forward, because I know I missed the last couple days. But, thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you soon.